It's probably the number one thing I've learned about you since we've been doing the show that I never knew about you before.
That I follow certain rules.
So many rules. Like
Well, it's etiquette.
you could actually put a book together of cereal's rules of life.
Well, it's etiquette. It's the same thing where like the forks go on the right, knives go on the left. You cut your food with your opposite hand that your fork using. Like you don't swap fork while you're eating. So your fork, I said that wrong starting off. I apologize. Forks on the left, knives on the right. So when you cut a steak, you use your left hand to fork it, right hand to knife it, and then you feed yourself with the left hand. People who cut their steak right-handed and then slip the fork to their right hand to feed themselves, completely wrong. Drives me insane.
I do that.
Yeah,
I cut like this.
You cut.
And then
you cut right-handed,
and then you switch hands.
And then you swap the fork to the right hand.
Correct.
You should feed yourself with the left hand.
Can I ask you this though? Like in why? That's always been my thought. Life is short.
No, it is why. Like I want to argue it. I want to have the debate, but I have no grounds for the ultimate reason. Yeah. Yes, you're right. There is no benefit or, it's just a, I don't know, some French word. It is a French word for not doing it. I always say quoi or whatever.
I don't know.
Is it, like there is a right way and a wrong way to, otherwise we're all animals. Why don't you eat with your hands? Why do we use silverware at all?
Yeah, I probably eat a lot with my hands.
Well, you should.
I like food with hands, like wings and ribs.
Well, there's a time and place, but if you're having a steak, fork left hand, knife right hand, you cut it and feed yourself with the left hand. Yeah, you eat your potatoes with the left hand.
For me, life's too short.
You don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I'm this way, but those are the rules, and I follow the rules. I'm very big on following rules.
I think it's because you have to have protocol, or you will be off the tracks.
No,
I think you have to have a point A to point B. Otherwise, I don't know how to get there.
You're half right. If there is protocol, I want to follow it to a T. I'm military in that way. If there is a rule, I will follow it. If there's not a rule, I think I'm the smartest motherfucker, and if you're not doing it my way, you're doing it wrong. So either way, if you're not following military rule or my rule, you're wrong. But it's just the way I make myself comfortable in the world is by following the rules.
No, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what feels good.
Well, I mean,
what feels good to me is fucking saying, fuck those rules.
It's the way
Suck a dick rules.
It's the way I get by.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. I argue. Elbows on the table. Completely okay. Because the rule is don't shovel food into your mouth. So you can have elbows on the table. You can rest and prop and fucking talk with your hands.
I think
until the point.
Which point you're talking to the rule.
No. The definition of the rule is.
I bet there's conflicting opinions.
Okay, look it up. I don't give a shit.
I'm going to look it up.
I'm telling you right now. The rule reads, do not shovel food into your mouth. So if you have your elbows on the table and you are shoveling food to your face, that's inappropriate. But there is no rule specifically to having your elbows on the table. A lot of people, especially in our raising, the South, no elbows on the table. And it's inappropriate. Well, it's not true.
This is 100 What the fuck happened to this show? We went from he-old gingivitis to this, where I'm actually, not going to lie, interested in 100 table manner tips. Table manners tip number 15, elbows.
What is the book? There is a book written by...
The Hausfrau's Guide to Hausfrau.
No. Ellie Elizabeth E something.
Well, this is just etiquette, but this is the elbows rule. The no elbows on the table rule applies only when you're actually eating. When no utensils are being used, putting your elbows on the table is acceptable.
Yeah, well, the idea again is not to shovel food in your mouth. If you are eating or if you're conversating, elbows are okay. It's the idea that you don't want to shovel food into your face like an animal. Same thing. You don't lean over your soup to feed yourself. You bring the soup up to your mouth.
For British and American manners, it's generally considered rude to put your elbows on the table. But for French, elbows are acceptable for many acts of cutting and eating food. So do pay attention to where you are.
Well, again, it's a general rule because none of it's law, but it's a faux pas within certain groups. But the same thing, you don't lean down to eat your soup. You bring the soup up to your mouth. You don't lean down to eat your steak. You bring the steak up to your mouth. You sit upright and bring it to your face.
Yeah,
I'm very keen on the way these things work.
When did you get all about your manners? When did you get mind your manners, man?
I want to say like 13, 14.
What made you mind your manners, man?
I don't know. Something around 13, 14. It was just like I was taught the right way by Emily Dickinson's, guide to fucking eating or whatever the fuck that book is. And it's Emily something.
All right, we're going to quiz you on some of this etiquette. What do you do with your napkin when you sit down?
When you sit down?
Yes.
You place it in your lap.
Immediately. Unfold it while it's in your lap. You're correct. Utensil etiquette. In most situations, use the blank rule to tell which knife, fork, or spoon to use at the dinner table.
I don't know what blank is, but outermost. You work your way from outside to inside.
That's the outside in rule. Look at this fucker. Look at this fucker.
So you have like several forks, you have several knives, and you work your way, depending on the meal, towards the center of your utensils.
What do you do with unwanted food in your mouth?
So if you have food, like you took a bite and
so for example, there's a pit or bone.
Yeah. My best guess in that situation, if like I had to discard food in my mouth outside of just manning up and swallowing it, I would say napkin.
Yeah. It says food is removed from the mouth in the manner in which it is put into the mouth. Food put into the mouth with the utensils removed with the utensil.
So if you fork a steak in, you fork the steak out.
That's what it says. I don't know why you would fork it. Why would you fork a steak out of your mouth? But when fingers are used to eat food, the pit or bone is removed with the fingers.
Well, whatever put it in is what brings it out. Yeah, solid rule. I didn't know that, but
it's fucking crazy to me.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
Let's see here. Cutting your food. What's the proper way to cut your food?
Dominant hand runs the knife. Sedimentary hand. I don't know what
this is not referring to hands. It's referring to
one bite at a time. You don't cut your entire steak up.
There you go.
You cut one bite at a time.
Cut your food into only one or two bite-sized pieces at a time. Yeah. Again, let me defer for a second.
We're not cutting it up for a child.
Fucking dumbass rule.
No.
And here's
you don't saw all your food like a child.
For a fucker who loves efficiency. For a fucker who loves efficiency, way more efficient to cut that whole fucker up and shovel that whole fucker in.
I don't know why, but I conscribe to this etiquette for some reason.
Do you think it's a dumb... Do you ever think, though, when you're doing one of these rules, what a dumb fuck rule?
Yeah, the left hand, right hand rule is weird to me, but I like, you'll notice if I ever eat with you, I don't swap forks and knives. Like, knife is right hand, fork is left hand, and that's the way I feed myself.
What do proper table manners dictate when seasoning food?
Chef's discretion. If provided, use at your own discretion. Don't go ape shit and cover it in ketchup.
It says taste your food before seasoning it.
Right.
So you should at least eat it before you fuck with it.
Well, yes. Like the chef cooked it the way he wanted it to be. You taste it the way the chef prepared it. If you need to add a little salt, you use discretion to sprinkle salt. You use ketchup, anti-liberally.
Oh, this is a fucking trip you up here. How do you hold a white wine glass? How do you hold a red wine glass? Fucking manners, boy.
Okay, white wine you hold by the stem. Red you hold by the bulb.
Look at this fucker right here.
Is it right?
That's fucking right. God damn.
I'm telling you, I know this shit.
I break all these fucking
I can
rules.
eat with kings and queens because I know my etiquette.
You know what, though? This is what I do with kings and queens. I'd be the fucking Blues Brothers. I'd be like fucking... No, I tell you what, truthfully, I have been in a situation before where I feel like I have to be somewhat a fucking person, which I hate. But when I feel like I have to be somewhat a person, all I do is sit and watch fuckers.
Mimic. That's the best rule. If you don't know, mimic.
I just watch fuckers and do what they do.
Exactly. If you don't know, mimic.
Yeah.
What else you got for me?
What do you...
I think I'm 10 for 10
I'm
for so far.
enjoying this. I got to find some more.
Like the salt one, I may have been like half a point on. Like what do you do to salt your food or whatever?
Yeah,
that might have been a half a point. So I'm like 9.5 for 10. What else you got?
I'm trying to think.
Just throw them out. Just keep going.
Okay. What do you do with finger food when it's on a tray?
Okay, so are you being like? Does it give you any context? Like you're being served the tray?
So finger food is you're taking finger food from a tray,
or the tray's on the table. I would say one-handed, two-finger, delicate is the best word I can describe.
It says to, I guess this is not a great. It says place it on a plate.
Yeah, you transfer from the platter to the plate with,
and then do the thing we said, which is where you watch the other fuckers. And if other people are using utensils, use a utensil. If other people are going fucking ape shit,
that's a general.
Yeah,
like, I would use tongs if tongs are provided. I would like if it was being served by like a mannequin or whoever the fuck, whatever you call the server. If they're serving it, I would allow them to place it on my plate, and then I don't know. That one's kind of open to interpretation. What else you got?
These are getting kind of confusing.
Well, quiz me. Let me see. So far, I'm like 9.5 for 10. 9.5 for 11.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
10.5 for 11.
Okay, so that's not. None of these are getting to not be good. For example, one thing at a time. Do one thing at a time at the table. Sip your wine. Rest your fork or knife at the plate. I mean,
it's the idea of not shoving your face full of shit. You're not taking a bite.
Oh, here you go.
Steak.
What do you do when you're with your hands? Like, for example, when holding a utensil, what do you do with the other hand?
Oh, okay. So you got to paint the stage for me. I don't know what the question is specifically asking.
You're holding a utensil, eating. What are you doing with your other hand?
Resting it in my lap.
Correct. Look at that. When not holding any utensils, what do you do?
Both hands in the lap or gently folded over the table.
What is the number one place you keep your hands away from?
The food, the dining area, or your face.
Yeah, it'd be your hair. So close.
Yeah.
Okay, eating soup. What's the proper way to spoon soup, fucker? Manners boy. How do you properly spoon soup?
To your face, not face to the soup.
I think it's the opposite. It says spoon soup away from you towards the center of the soup bowl.
Oh, yeah. As you draw it, you don't pull towards you. You push away.
Out.
But you bring the spoon to your face. You don't lean your face into the soup.
When a platter contains a combination of foods, what do you do with the garnish?
So you have a meat plate and there's a garnish on the plate, you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, it says when a platter contains garnish on a platter. When a platter contains a combination of foods, what do you do with the garnish?
Disregard, like ignore. You don't eat the fucking decorative lettuce.
It says to take a moderate serving of the garnish.
Oh.
It says when a platter contains a common... Now, I don't think you're supposed to necessarily eat it, but I think you are supposed to put the garnish from the platter onto that fucking little bitty plate.
So your plate looks nice.
I mean, yeah, so when a platter contains a combination of foods...
The people who eat the garnish, like the decorative flour that's there by the meat plate.
Yeah.
So, okay, I get it. Putting it on your plate so your plate looks nice, but eating the flour is...
There's a lot of... Is platters a big thing? There's a whole lot of fucking platter tips.
There's a whole...
So many goddamn platter tips.
There's a whole thing to how you...
There's a whole thing.
To how you fucking approach, buffet style stuff.
How long do you hold up dinner for a late guest?
5 minutes.
No, it's 15 to 20.
15 to 20.
But that's the cutoff. So you hold it up for late guests, 15 to 20 minutes, then you begin to eat.
Yeah, I'd say 5 minutes, and then like I go college rules. Professor's late by 5 minutes, class is canceled.
What do you do with a cocktail glass at the dinner table?
Okay, so we sit down with a cocktail glass?
So let's say you're having cocktails before dinner.
And then we sit down with it.
What do you do with the cocktail glass?
Left hand side of the plate until you finish. Then it is left hand forward.
It is incorrect.
No.
You do not bring the cocktail glass with you. You leave the cocktail glass in the cocktail area because
Oh.
water and wines are served with a multi-course meal.
Right.
Do not bring your cocktail with you.
Okay, so it's a faux pas for me to bring my drink with me, but I know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Look it up. Drinks go on the water goes on the left. Drinks go on the right. If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think you're right on that one. I'm trying to read this next one to ask you. What do you do with a purse at the dinner table?
Politely drape it under the table or off. Well, the back of the chair is kind of a faux pas, but there should be a given like spot for the purse under the table.
Yeah, it says it's held on the lap or placed close at hand.
Yeah, a lot of like where these rules apply. There's hooks under the table for those kind of things.
What are the rules on asking for a second helping?
Wait till everybody's finished, and then you don't want to be the first. Is my go-to.
It says
wait till somebody else.
It says improper at a formal dinner, but in an informal one, it is permissible.
Okay, yeah. So wait till somebody else calls it, and the same rules apply. Then if somebody asks at an informal, somebody else will get and then you're free to go. If no one ever asks, you're not going to ask. So
what is the rules on a doggy bag?
0. Never, unless it is like informal or
it says
Olive Garden bullshit.
Karen, this is interesting. It says it is acceptable table manners to take leftover food home from a restaurant, except if on a date or a business lunch or dinner.
So if we're formal dining,
which I think I've done that, like, I think I've been to business lunches before where I did not eat all my food and I fucking took it with me. The only reason I did that is because I had a lot of food left and I didn't want to insult the fucker who paid for the food. Like, I was thinking, like, God, fucking leaving food, you know.
See, I would take
you go to any restaurant, they give you too much fucking food,
I
man.
would take the other stance. If somebody else was paying for it, I would be, like, gracious as, like, to have been served and walk away. If I was paying for the luncheon, I would fucking doggy bag everybody's shit and I'll take it all home.
So you would take you'd say, host gets it all.
If I'm paying it, yes. If the host has dibs to everybody's leftovers. Which is probably
what do you do? Oh,
goddamn.
You know, this is the difference between our fucking show and when I was working with, when I did that Pauly V guest hosted.
Yeah. So I did a Pauly V special and you did a Pauly V special now.
Well, he likes the Skype video.
Yeah.
And
so you did the
I was watching
face-to-face.
anytime he had to do a cough or a sneeze or anything.
He was very
always
discreet.
moving and getting. I just sneezed right in the fucking mic.
Yeah, he was a chocolate rain, breathing off mic, not to create breathing noises.
Yeah, I just fucking sneeze and
fuck it. Here we are. So what else we got?
This is crazy. It's crazy, number one, how fascinated I am by this. And it's also crazy how much you know about this. What do you do with like a sugar or cream packet at one of these? Like, say you're having coffee. What do you do with the wrappers afterwards, Cereal?
So,
you manners boy?
So I've got a coffee and saucer and I add cream to it. And what do I do with the discarded package? Like once I've used the material?
Yeah.
I would say put it on the saucer.
Oh boy, you are fucking good at this. You can either, it should be crumpled up tightly and either tucked under the rim of your plate or placed on the edge of the saucer. Look at you, fucking look at you. Let's see here.
Dude, I studied this shit hard. Like when I was 17, 16. Like, you know that douche guy that wears the fedora and Jinko jeans and is like, if only you knew what a good man was, you'd date me. Kind of fucking douchey, cringe, mean pictures.
Yeah,
that was me. Like, why doesn't this girl love me? I'm the good guy. She's
made
dating.
You like fucking like manly or something?
No, I was a gentleman. I learned the rules of being proper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you were very into gentlemanness.
Well, yeah. Because, like, why is she dating a douchebag when I'm a proper gentleman?
I always felt like I was more like into the idea of being a boorish man, like scotch and cigars and dirty jokes and farts. Like that always was much more appealing to me. And then like gentlemanly.
No, but that's what you thought would get you women?
No, I didn't think about it like that.
So like, I mean, obviously you wanted to have poontang in your life, and
I mean, I thought about chicks, but I never thought about it like this will get me chicks or that will get me chicks.
But at 13, like obviously we started a band to get laid, and that was probably 14, 15.
Yeah, I don't even know if I did that to get chicks though. Like I just mainly think like I was always like thinking like I like girls, but I didn't understand them.
Yeah.
And like I didn't really think like how will I get them? I just hoped one day a girl would fall into my lap.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the way you live your life.
I mean, that's
like I
never pursued any of that.
I took proactive steps. So when I was 13, 14, I thought learning these rules would impress a lady. By the time I was 17, I learned that calling them pieces of shit would get them to fuck you. By the time I was,
you know these fucking manners? What have they done for this part of it?
Well, it did teach me to have like respect. Well, like I've had dinner with CEOs of big companies. I've had like luncheons with big people, and I do appreciate knowing these rules because I was able to, not make a fool of myself in those circumstances. I've had opportunities in front of big people, but I don't know what the fuck I sold them by knowing left or right hand, where my glass goes.
Yeah, like, so example, what would be the difference in between knowing the rules and just watching them and figuring it out? Like, you probably do
it doesn't
the same,
matter,
right?
It doesn't, like, really. Like,
because let's be honest, most of them aren't paying attention to you.
But the thing
no one's paying attention to the way you're eating your food unless you're, like, fucking rubbing your balls on the plate.
Unless you're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
So they are the ones that you're trying to, ascertain to, or whatever the word is. So if they have bad manners, your bad manners are excused. But if they have like perfect manners and you don't know those manners, you make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
So coming in prepared,
but every
Boy
movie
Scouts
I've
rule,
ever seen growing up,
Boy Scouts rule, like be prepared whether, you're ready or not. Like know the rules.
I just think every movie I grew up watching, the cool people were the guys that were like fucking like Blues Brothers, Encino Man.
Yeah, motorcycles.
Pauly Shore and Son-in-Law.
Okay, you're naming people that are not cool.
I loved both fuckers. You didn't like Pauly Shore and Son-in-Law?
Well, no, every character you've just named is the underdog, not the cool guy.
Bluto in fucking Animal House.
None of them are the cool kid. Like, if you would name the cool kids, it would make sense.
No, that's who I thought was the cool kids. I'm saying, I was like, I'd love to be like fucking Bluto or fucking Pauly Shore.
You grew up rooting for the underdog. You were a, what's a football fucking tards kid name? Randy or Rudolph or...
Rudy?
Rudy. Yeah, like you would cheat. Like you lived your life to become Rudy. Instead of like Rudy's friends who helped Rudy, you wanted to be Rudy.
I guess I did. I don't know.
What else we got? What other
I got
rules?
some more. I'm loving this. I don't give a fuck if, again, we're selfish on our show. I don't give a fuck what people think about this right now because I'm loving it.
Cereals
I
etiquette.
want to know about sopping with bread because this I think I think this is going to trip you up. What is the rules in regarding sopping with bread?
I don't know the rule offhand. My instinct tells
go with
me
your gut because I think you even have. I honestly think you have a knack for this. I think you can. If you don't know, your instinct is going to lead you the right way.
My instinct says do not dip or whatever. Do not soak. Secondary thought would be only on the soup course. Do not sop your dinner, like the entree. Do not sop the entree. Sop the preliminary soup.
Close, but what is you can sop? Sopping is okay. You can sop up extra gravy or sauce, but only with a piece of bread on the end of a fork. And then the soaked bread is then brought to the mouth with the fork.
So bread on fork, not bread on hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so like again, you err on the side of judgment and do not sop, but that's good to know.
What do you do with hot soup properly?
What do you mean hot? Like
you get soup, it's too hot. You do it
too hot.
Yeah, it's too hot. What do you do? What do you? What is it? Keanu Reeves and fucking Speed. Dennis fucking Hopper's always like, "You've got a gun. pointed at your head. Hair trigger, 5 seconds. Bad guys there. What do you do? What do you do? You've got hot soup. You're at a restaurant. It's a fine dining establishment.
I'd say,
what do you do?
If I had to make a call like that, like bus of people dying, not dying, I'd say stir away from yourself in a slow manner, not to disturb the soup.
Look at this fucker right here. You don't blow, you stir.
Yeah.
Stir what the fuck does that even do? How does stirring fucking do anything?
Because you're dissipating the heat. You don't want a hot spot, so you're distributing the heat throughout, and it'll cool off faster as surface.
I say what you should do is you get your ice water.
Yeah.
And just dump that shit in there and fucking stir it.
You throw some ice cubes in it. That's completely okay.
How do you know when it's the end of the meal? What does the host do to signal the end of the meal?
They place their napkin upon or next to their plate, not on the plate.
Yeah, it's just on the table.
Yep, they place their, because when you walk away from a dinner, if you have to excuse yourself, you put your napkin in your seat. That is a sign that you have walked away to the restroom or something. When you're done, you never place your napkin on the plate. You place it next to the plate, and that is a signal that you are done with your meal.
All right, let's see here.
You don't seem impressed by that knowledge.
No, you got a lot of knowledge.
Napkin shit is not your forte.
No, apparently not. This is shit that's like getting too deep. Like, for example, ordering cheese in a restaurant. If having cheese, ask the waiter if the cheese is currently in the refrigerator. If so, ask them to remove it at the beginning of the meal so it'll be at room temperature by the time you're ready to eat it. Like, that's fucking specific as fuck, dude.
Maybe if you're at a family dinner, you don't do that at a restaurant. You don't tell the waiter how to serve you cheese. The waiter should know that.
That's an obvious one. What do you do with your pinky when you're holding your fucking drink?
Yeah, you don't touch your pinky to shit.
It says you don't crook it, meaning curve it in any way.
It's just your pinky.
What the fuck is that, too? That's the lamest shit I've ever. Hello, my little pinkies. Hello.
No, like all these etiquette rules boil back to a basic instinct of having dinner with another person. So I'm from one tribe. You show up at my door. I invite you to dinner. And if you don't know these rules and etiquette, you may have a knife you're going to pull on me. So all these things pull from like politely entering a meal with a stranger. These are ways to show that you're not a threat.
I didn't know this.
All right. Well, read the question first, and then let's.
Tipping, but you didn't get the check. What's the rule?
Okay, so the check is brought to the table. Somebody else grabs it.
The host is taking the check.
I sit back and fucking ignore it.
You're supposed to tip.
Oh, I'm supposed to tip.
Yeah, it says even if you receive a complimentary meal, tip. So that's interesting. I know about that.
Because my rule of thumb is first person to grab the check is the one paying for the check.
Well, there is rules on that too. Apparently, it is the host or most senior person is the one supposed to take it.
Well,
so i.e. if you invite someone to dinner, you're supposed to take it.
Because you're the host.
Or if everybody met there or something, whoever's the most oldest, senior, the patriarch or the matriarch is supposed to take the check.
Yeah, and that's all fine. But the problem I have is motherfuckers want to grab the check to look at the bill, and then they put it back down and expect somebody else to pay for it. You touch that fucking check, you're paying for it. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's none of your business what the check is unless you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, I've had instances with my sister-in-law and other people where they grab the check, look at it, and go like, "Oh goddamn," and then put it back and expect you to pay for it.
Well, fucker, I got one for you. This fucker's gonna trip you up. Lemons. What's the rule in lemons to keep from squirting your dinner companion with some lemon juice?
Okay, so the idea is I'm squeezing some lemon onto my food.
Yeah, either onto like your shrimps or your rice pilaf or
I
your
would
water.
say a spoon and a pinch. So you're pinching with one hand and you're blocking with a spoon.
Yeah, this says to impale. We'll see how close you are. Impale the pulp of the lemon wedge on the fork tines. Next, cup your free hand over the lemon and gently squeeze the fruit.
Okay, so essentially, you're cupping the balls and squeezing with the cup.
Cup the balls of the lemon.
While
balls.
the lemon's on a fork.
Dude, you know what? That's what you should say in this. Cup the lemon's balls.
So
cup the balls.
You
of the
see what
lemon.
we're talking about? Like you fork your lemon and then you cup and squeeze it with the other hand. I think mine is more proficient. You squeeze and cover with a spoon to avoid squirting. But I'll take a point off for that one. I was wrong.
What's the rule in crackers and soup?
Like in general, like are you allowed to have crackers and soup, or
Correct.
like how do you use crackers and soup?
Are you allowed to have crackers and soup?
Yes, if crackers are served, you're allowed to have soup.
Incorrect, sir.
No?
Do not. This is like a firm rule. Do not put crackers in your soup. I don't know what the fuck.
Well, again, read it more carefully, because the question I have is, am I throwing crackers in my soup, or am I dipping a
It
cracker?
says, do not put crackers in your soup. The rule is crackers in soup. Do not put crackers in your soup.
If I'm dipping a cracker and then bringing the cracker to my face,
To me, it sounds like very anti-cracker.
compared to, like, my brother does this. My brother will throw 30 crackers in his soup and crush them up and eat his soup with 30 crushed crackers.
To me, the way I'm reading this is those crackers should not be fucking with that soup.
No crackers, no soup.
No crackers.
No.
You can have the soup. Don't be fucking it up.
You
with
can have
those-
crackers, you can have soup, but not together.
Not crackers and soup. Do not
Okay.
put the crackers in the goddamn soup.
Because, again,
That's the way I'm reading it.
that's fine.
And maybe you could eat a cracker and then you could spoon some fucking soup in.
That's fine.
I don't think you can cracker soup.
No, I'm okay. Again, I may be wrong. Deduct a point. I'm okay with dipping your cracker into the soup and eating it if you bring the cracker to your face.
Yeah.
Now, cracking 37 crackers into your soup.
This isn't Elliot's Rules of fucking etiquette or whatever the fuck it is, but this is very anti-cracker and soup.
What is there is a book, like
I'll find this.
Elizabeth's Guide to like carrying books on your head. It is a female like woman's etiquette guide, world famous, 1896 or some shit.
So, what about what do you do when someone asks you to pass the salt?
The closest person without doubling down.
No. What do you pass?
Oh, if somebody asks me to pass the salt, what do I pass?
Correct.
The salt?
Pass both the salt and pepper.
Oh, well, yeah, double down as for not
I guess
repetition.
somebody says, bring the salt. You go, here you go, motherfucker.
Yeah, here's
salt
all
and
of
pepper.
it. Yeah, I'm not going to double down and ask for pepper in 2 seconds.
What do you do when someone offers a toast to you?
So, like, cheers to something?
Like it's your birthday and people would go, cheers to Cyril's birthday.
So, yeah, raise your glass, accept the toast, and partake.
Do not drink to yourself. That's what it says. When someone offers a toast to you, do not drink to yourself.
So you're cheersing me. Like, here's the
That's what I'm
cereal.
saying, like happy birthday
Yeah,
cereal.
here's the cereal being a great guy.
Yeah.
And everybody else drinks, but I
I don't necessarily agree with that rule.
Oh, no.
That seems weird.
No.
Seems like a weird rule.
We're stepping into territory that I'm not completely familiar with.
That's a weird fucking rule, dude.
Well, the thing is, though, you are having fun. I am making life notes.
You're not. No crackers will be fucking with your soup.
That is
in a fucking
forever from today is my rule. Like, these are, I'm learning because I'm not an expert in etiquette, but I do know my, faux pas. And all of a sudden, you're teaching me shit. So, no crackers in my life.
Yeah. Is it Tiffany's
your
Table
crackers.
Manners?
Maybe Tiffany's. Maybe.
That's all I came up with. Table Manners book and
Okay.
Tiffany's Table Manners.
That might be it.
But who the fuck knows?
Well, no, it is a book from like 1896.
Yeah, this does not sound like a.
It is not a fun book to read because it is rule by rule by rule memorization.
It's so fucking lame etiquette. It's like the fucking craziest thing in the world.
It is
because
proper.
It seems like
It is the Queen's rules, and it makes no sense, but yet it's the Queen's rules. If the Queen came over to dinner, you better know this shit, otherwise you're going to offend the Queen.
Could it be Emily's Post?
Emily Post, yes, 100%.
Emily Post Etiquette.
Yep.
That's the name of it. It's just called Etiquette. Book by Emily Post.
I told you it was Emily, and it's like
1922.
Okay, I was close. 1896 is what I said, but yes, 100%.
This is like what reminds me of that shit like back in the day where like kings and queens were like, we are all better than the peasants and we eat in a certain way and we
it is part of that.
Special.
It is part of that, but on the other hand, serving knives to people, like providing a butter knife, is a way to secure that no one's bringing a goddamn machete to dinner.
Yeah, but all this shit's passe now. It's fucking old now.
Now today, yes. Now it's an old tradition we all uphold for fucking like shits and giggles and to prove we're better than people. But I still feel like
that's why I think that's what it's more about.
There is an honor in knowing it. It's the same
it reminds
way
me of like
knowing that dinosaurs existed at this point in time versus not knowing or saying dinosaurs didn't exist. Well, yeah, everybody can say this and that, whatever, but there's an honor in knowing the truth.
Here's where I get it and where I don't get it. I get it to this degree because there was a time when I was like, even fuck like nice clothes, fuck this, fuck that. And then I was dressed a certain way. And I remember it was years ago, an old general manager of mine was like, dude, if you would like wear like ties and jackets, people would fucking take you seriously and fucking do business with you. And I was like, fuck that fucking bullshit. But I started doing it because he told me to. And it worked.
Yeah, perception is half the battle. First impressions are very important.
But I think that's a bunch of... I still to this day think it's a bunch of fucking bullshit.
It is.
It's the way the world works.
It is.
But that doesn't stop me from thinking it's a bunch of fucking bullshit.
It is 100% bullshit.